Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you that are new, welcome. So today, I'm going to teach you how not to kill your baby chicks. So that was a joke, because if anybody who raises chicks, they can tell you that it's slightly hard to keep chicks alive. And over having backyard chickens, I have had to figure that out, and it has been an emotional ride when it comes to chickens. So basically today I'm going to show you the basics of how to take care of backyard chicks, because we got some new ones. So I wanted to kind of just show you those because they're super cute, but I obviously needed a reason to show you them, so this is how you take care of them. So there's 4 basic things all chicks growing up need, and that's food, water, shelter, and a heat source. So let's start with food. So for food, you need chick starter. Usually chick starter comes in either 20% or 24%. Right now we have 24% because we actually have turkey keat. So this is good for the chicks, but it also gives that extra protein for the turkeys that we have. So big thing, see how it says non-medicated? So I always choose non-medicated because I get my chicks from a breeder and she doesn't treat them with vaccines. So typically though, when you get chicks, they're not treated with vaccines. So non-medicated is the way to go. Now, if it's coming from a hatchery and they need to be shipped, most of the times those hatcheries will vaccinate their chicks. So then they go on a medicated formula chick starter. But I never use medicated. My chicks aren't vaccinated for anything. So non-medicated it is. So then you need a feeder to put the chick starter in. So you can get these at Tractor Supply, Rural King, and then these tops right here, you can actually just use mason jars if you don't want to buy the tops and just want to buy the bottoms. And this is what the chick starter actually looks like. It's crumbles, so it's easy for them to eat. Alright, that's the food. Okay, so now for the water. So if you see the difference between the dish, this one is more like a bowl, and you can also use a mason jar for this. So if you see these plastic containers, these are the ones that you get at Tractor Supply. But the reason I don't really love those is because if you see right here, they kind of grow algae in them, and now it's just stained from it. But the mason jars have had a better luck since they're glass, that they don't grow as much algae on them. So that's why I also like to use the mason jars. One of the big illnesses that they can get is called coccidius, and that can take out your whole flock of chicks. So what you can do to help your chicks from the get-go when you get them, whether it's from a hatchery, from a breeder, from a feed store, I advise that you add some vitamins to their water, something like this. This has vitamins, probiotics, and electrolytes. So this just kickstarts that immune system, because as chicks, they haven't built any type of immune system. So they are super prone to getting coccidius. This is what that vitamin powder looks like. It's very fine and grainy. So this ratio actually calls for a 1/3 teaspoon per gallon. So this is actually 1 quart. So I literally just like put a pinch. So then I use apple cider vinegar because this is like a natural immune builder. So then I just do a little splash like that. And then it's good. So the obvious, chicks need shelter, and that's really important because they grow pretty quickly, so you need to make sure that there's enough room for them to grow in, there's enough ventilation, and the right bedding and such like that. So this is kind of what we have set up. Right now I have 2 different systems set up for shelter. This is really small squared hardware cloth. I don't remember if it's a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, but it's just a pretty big cage that we made. We use zip ties. So a lot of people do different things like this. They can use Tupperwares, we've done that. You can use dog crates, anything really that will just keep them contained. I actually have them in my barn right now, so this is the best since it's super small squared. My cats kind of protect them, but it doesn't let like any type of snakes or any other predators in. And then we have just like a handle right here, and then a little latch to open it up top. So bedding's really important. The most common is fine pine shavings. I have tried that and I didn't really love it. They just flick it everywhere and they get it in their water, so it's always a mess. So I actually really like these. And this is actually horse bedding pellets. So a lot of the times when people actually use these, what horse bedding does is that when it gets wet, it's really absorbent, so then it turns into like a fine powder. But I keep them like this so that when they do get it wet, then it turns into the fine powder. And so that water can be absorbed as quickly as possible, because when there's sitting water, that's when they can actually get that coccidius disease. So this is the one, and then I'm gonna show you the next one. So this is my other setup in my chicken coop, and what you usually call these is like a brooder box. So I have that same hardware cloth all around it, and these are the chicks. I have actually a little roosting box so that they can roost on, and you just can unlatch it here. I have a handle, then it comes all the way down, or I actually have those little chains that will hold it like this. So the fourth and final basic chick care is the heat lamp. They need heat like they need food. Without it, they'll die. So the first week of a chick's life, they need 95 degrees. And then every week after, you subtract 5 degrees. So the first week, they need 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The second week of their life, they need 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The third week, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. You get it. Up until they're about 8 weeks, and then in Florida, they really don't need heat anymore because they're about the same temperature that it is outside. And then they go through the process of being released into a big coop after they're in their small brooder shelter. So there are two main heat sources people usually use, and that's one, a heat lamp, and two, a heat plate. A lot of people across the board will tell you their dislike for heat lamps, but sometimes they're just necessary, and everyone that raises chicks knows they are dangerous. They are very easily prone to catching fire because they can either shatter, drop, whatever it is, and then if it's on pine shavings, those will burst up into flames. And a lot of backyard chicken keepers keep their chicks inside their house, and I have heard many horror stories of people's houses burning down because of heat lamps. So I highly advise against heat lamps if you can. So I'll show you what we do. This is a heat lamp like I was talking to you about, and since this is in the barn and I actually don't use pine shavings, and if it fell, it would actually never reach the bedding. So this is where I feel comfortable with this, but in the house I hated it, so that's why they're out here, and I don't put the heat lamp in the house. It's not worth it. And then we have the heat plate in the other brooder. So this is my favorite heating source, and it's actually a heat plate. These are much safer. They're just ran off electric, but you don't have to worry about heat lamps and them catching on fire. So what it does is the bottom underneath here is actually heated, and these go up and down, so you set them at how tall your birds are. So what's really good about these two is that the bigger that they get, the farther you put it away, so that they're just tall enough to get that heat as the bigger that they grow and the taller that we lift it up. So these are really good, and I actually bought this thing right here. So it looks like feathers, and it just gives them like the illusion that they're under their mom, because that's how it would look if they were actually under a sitting hen. So I really like these. I just got this about a couple months ago, and so far it has been wonderful. And that's why I actually have it in the coop, because I won't put a heat lamp in the coop because it's just too dangerous. So this little chick is a Seabright. What's cool about these is these are called Bantams, and what they are is basically like mini chicks. Look at the colors on this though. It's like golden laced. And this is a turkey key, and he's super chatty. But what's funny about turkeys is, like, look at their little head. They have this little knob on them. It's so cute. And this is a Royal Palm. This is a Bourbon Red turkey key. So you get that little thing on his head. Hey, turkey. And then I have a Polish chicken in there that has a funny looking head. I have a Silky that's frizzled. I have another Polish that's frizzled. And then I have a naked neck chicken which has no hair on its neck. So that's how you keep baby chicks alive, aka that's how you take care of them. These are the basics. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you thought the baby chicks were super cute. Of course, if you like this video, or if you thought the chicks were super cute, just give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.